let's go ahead. Let's open up the doors. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for my co-hosts and my team and my technical support. Yeah, for those of you who are in the technical field and you figure everything out each and every day for people, hats off to you. I appreciate you so much, even if you were not part of getting us on today. Life is great and technology is even greater when it works perfectly. So, Dr. Wallach, I'm so glad to see you today. I'm glad we got everything worked out enough that we could be here on Daily with Doc. My name is Becca Dukes, and as the hostess of this program, we are here for you as a resource Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50-ish Pacific time, with information that's empowering. It is empowering where you can take your health back into your own hands, but we are required to let you know that the content of this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. It is for educational purposes only on the importance of nutrition. The products that are mentioned in this program are not meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases. But folks, when you give your body what it needs, the body itself was designed to do some amazing things as it is continually making new cells every second of the day. And the better the fuel is for the making and manufacturing of those cells, the better the cells are going to be. And we have one of the founding fathers of the study of epigenetics that proves that what we put into our mouth and what we have in our environment has more leverage on how we are going to be health-wise than genetics. And the fact that everything that's not explained is blamed on genetics, well, this man has proven that there are over 600 different poor health conditions that are associated with nutritional deficiencies. So folks, let's just take those nutritional deficiencies out of the equation, give the body what it needs to be able to thrive and start enjoying life. And that's what this program is all about, is to give you information on solutions that we have found because of the research, because of the formulations that have been put together by Dr. Joel Wallach and his team for we as humans, and even the parents of fur babies, and for our fur babies to be able to thrive. Now, this program is being sponsored by Daily with Doc. If you have never spoken to anybody about longevity, you are welcome to visit our website. We do, for all, have the replays of the majority of our programs on the website, including additional supportive information and articles that help you find that the medical system has made health very difficult. But folks, health is simple. It really is. We're not chemical deficient, we're nutrient deficient. And the articles and also the rebroadcasts of our programming is there so that you can use for yourself, but most importantly, share with somebody else. As you are listening to today's program, as you are watching past replays or reading some of the articles on our website, dailywithdoc.com, and you think of somebody that comes to mind, share that article or that video with them. Let them have information so that they also can make choices that may not be what they hear in the doctor's office or any other place. We're using common sense. We're using food as medicine. And I can't say enough about the importance of intentional supplementation that is not fractionated. I did fractionated nutrition for years and years and years and never felt a difference, thinking, why am I so young, feeling so old? Well, folks, it's because things don't always work together when you're doing fractionated nutrition. with the longevity and the products that they provide, there is a synergistic blend where things are working together with the body in a form that it is absorbable. So without further ado, I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to invest in your own self and share this program with others so that they also can start feeling the difference. Now, Dr. Joel Wallach he's got an amazing story. He is 84 years old. He doesn't talk like he's 84 years old. So listen fast, but don't stress if you don't catch everything, because we do have those replays that are available on YouTube and Rumble and Facebook. And I just want to say hello to all of you that are watching from those locations as well. If you would like to join us live, again, Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time, go to dailywithdoczoom.com. That is dailywithdoczoom.com. All right. Well, if you're here with us and you have a question for Dr. Wallach, make sure that you go to that Zoom menu and raise your hand. I will be calling on people in the order that their hands are raised. If you are also here with us, which one of the biggest advantages of being here with us is Marilyn does a fabulous job taking information, putting it into the chat of the Zoom meeting here, and even writing down what Dr. Wallach is recommending for the people who are asking the questions. Now, HIPAA, we want to respect everybody's privacy, even without HIPAA, actually. But HIPAA does restrict us from being able to allow these Zooms to have the chat be saved. We want to protect the privacy of our individuals that are here with us, because you're not just an individual, you're part of the family, and we love you for being here with us. So Dr. Joel Wallach, are you ready to share some great information with us? I know you have been on fire, excited about a crusade that it's been going on for a while, but you're ready to just blow things up.
Yes, well, thank you for the great introduction. Thank you for all the beginning information. Thank you to you and your entire team. And I'm very excited for a variety of reasons. I'll kind of start out with what's been kind of going on here recently. As you say, we're starting to put together a crusade, which I think we should be ready to deliver to the public in 3 weeks, a month. As soon as the attorneys get done looking at it, make sure we're not stepping on any toes or anything. But it'll be about 75 pages as a flip chart, color, okay, not black and white, but color, pictures on almost every page. And then let's see here. Also, we're going to have, in addition to the flip chart, we have this thing for computers. What's it called?
A digital download.
Digital download for computers, so you can show it to a stadium full of 1 million people, okay? Or you can show it to the world on a Zoom, okay? We're very excited about this. This is a crusade. It's gonna be entitled The 90 for Life Crusade to Save the World and Humanity, okay? And it has about a dozen pictures of me with some of the famous people we've dealt with, and sometimes it's just them without me, but probably 75, 80% of the time it's me with them. And they're athletes, they're very famous politicians, very famous pastors, rabbis, very famous, let's see here, people who are successful in business. And I'm sure I'm missing some categories, but just regular people. It's their stories. And they're in a book called Rare Earths and Cures, which I'll get to in a minute, which is like 500 pages. Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But this is kind of a rough. Okay, there you go. And then this is a rough of the flip chart, and she's got the rough of the, not the rough, she got the finish of product there.
This is
Rare,
finished,
yeah,
published, and well
Earths.
used.
It's 500 pages. Okay, it was published in 1994. It was published in 1994, and it's been, getting out to the public and drizzling along a few dozen a week. But now it's skyrocketing. Okay, now it is just going skyrocketing for a variety of reasons. Number one, we've done a lot of research going way back. And what we found out was that in the Old Testament, there's 21 verses, there's 21 stories of the land flowing with milk and honey, which we'll get to in a minute. And there's 100, let's see here. Oh, there's 100 references. There's 100 references to the land flowing with milk and honey in the Old Testament, and there's 21 complete verses, which are stories, sometimes are paragraphs, sometimes 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, or a page or two. Okay, so we're talking, this was a big deal, the land flowing with milk and honey. Why? Why was land and milk and honey so famous? Okay, well, in this book, Rare Spin Cures, we did a lot of research, and basically, let's see here, if I get the right page, there we go. You go to the Old Testament and say, okay, before the flood, Adam lived to be 930. Yeah, right. Okay, Seth lived to be 912. Enos lived to be 905. Canaan lived to be 910. Michael lived to be 895. Jared lived to be, Jared, 962. Methuselah lived to be 969. Lamech lived to be 777. Noah lived to be 950. Now here comes a very important piece. After the flood, when the whole world was flooded, these are the oldest people. Okay, Shem was 600. Okay, Arphaxad was 436. Selah was 433. Eber was 464. Peleg was 239. Reu was 239. Serug was 230. Nahor was 148. Terah was 205. Abram, not Abraham, but Abram was 175. Isaac was 180. And Jacob was 147. Because things had changed. Now, what had changed? We have to appreciate that the land flowing with milk and honey, everybody knew thousands of years ago that this is where, if you want to live a long time, you had to go there. This is where the prophets came from. This is where the people who were running around telling God's stories, okay, and healing people with God's words and herbs and all kinds of stuff, okay? And so what's going on here? Well, I just gave you the ages during the time before the flood and after the flood. Then after that, the questions were, okay, what made those places special? I want to know, was it cow's milk? You know, the land flowing with milk and honey. Was this cow's milk, camel's milk, goat's milk? No, it was glacial milk. And in the book, Rare Earth Ventures, which Rebecca's kindly holding up, chapter 10, it's entitled Glacial Milk. I spent a lot of time in Israel, okay, in one of the kibbutzes, Ramat Gan, was when I was in the Air Force, and Saudi Arabia and Egypt and so forth. I spent a lot of time over there in the Air Force. So I'm very familiar with that territory. And the Hebrews, okay, let's see here, the Israelis, their life expectancy today is 83, and the Egyptians' life expectancy is 71. So the Israelis live about 12 years longer than the Egyptians do, again, because of where they're living, the land flowing with milk and honey. So what is that? Come on, let's really talk about what that is. I could go on, I got page after page after page marked, but we don't have time for all that. But I will tell you this, that here in America, when you look at who are the longest lived people, when you look at all 50 states, Hawaii is the longest lived. Their life expectancy is 80.9. They have 5 active volcanoes, there's a clue. And then Mississippi has the lowest life expectancy of people in the United States. They live to be 74.6, so they die 6 years earlier than the Hawaiians do. They have 1 dead volcano. So it's the minerals coming down the slopes that have been ground up by the glaciers up on the top of the mountains. And in this book, Rare Earth Cures, which Becca has been sweetly holding up, we go into the analyses of these glacial milks from places where people live a long time, including the Hunzas, okay, in the Himalayan mountains. Their life expectancy is 120. Their life expectancy is 120. Our life expectancy in America, with the best doctors in the world, is 75. So what's the difference? The doctors are treating symptoms and relieving pain, which is not a bad thing, okay? But in Hunza, they're eating their millet, no gluten in millet. They're drinking water and using water to irrigate with that come from the mountains, from the Himalayan mountains, are full of minerals. And that's why they live to be 120. Many of them live to be 130, 140, 150 because of the minerals. And that's what was going on in the days of the land flowing with milk and honey. And so I've been working on this for a long time, and we finally, I believe, have all the pieces together. And everybody should at least have one of these books, Rare Forbidden Cures, in their home to show their kids and their families how to live to be 120, 130, 140, as opposed to 75. Now, this book that we're putting together, this flip chart, okay, goes into that, okay, as well as other things that's going to add health and quality to your life. And again, I have all these pictures of me with all these famous people who are movie actors, and for instance, Pat Boone wrote the foreword to my book, one of my newest books, one of my 3 newest books. Okay, he wrote the foreword to it. Okay, Pat Boone wrote that because he had arthritis, and doctors wanted to do double knee replacement, double hip replacement. I just gave him our healthy bone and joint pack, which we had made for Theo Ratliff, and rebuilt him. And so he wanted to do something for us, and he volunteered to do the foreword for the book. And he tells his story of getting rid of his arthritis, osteoporosis, with our healthy bone and joint pack. And the last chapter in this book is by Danny Glover. He was born with seizures and epilepsy. By the time he was 40, he was having trouble on stage, and so he was really winding down his career. And we came along, we rebuilt him, his brain and spinal cord and everything. That's where we came up with Synaptive and I-26 and so forth for him. And he wrote the last chapter, the afterword, okay, in the book, telling his story. So everybody needs these things to tell the story. Then, of course, we have another great one. It goes into the biblical stuff. It's on your head. There's at least 37 different diseases that we get from having osteoporosis. You want to open that up, Rebecca, to the page? I think it's page 6 in italics, or Roman numeral. There you go. The top skull is normal. The top of the skull has been cut off at autopsy, and you're looking down on the brain. Yep. And it's 1/4 of an inch thick. The bottom one, the top of the skull has been cut off in autopsy. You're looking down on the brain, and the skull is 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. The skull is connective tissue, scar tissue, because the bone is gone. And doctors don't realize it. They don't realize that you can get osteoporosis above your neck. Okay. They think all osteoporosis occurs in your vertebrae, your arm bones, your leg bones, your knee bones, okay, and all that kind of stuff. They had never thought about osteoporosis of the skull. That's why you get receding gums, you get TMJ, you get all your teeth fall out. Okay, that's why kids, when they're teenagers, their teeth rotate around and move around and bundle up in certain areas, because they have osteoporosis of the jaw as well as the upper dental arcade. Well, we figured out how to come up with a program to put all this together. We have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. We have the MSM. We have the Synaptive. We have the collagen peptides. We have the Rebound, or sports drink with 100 nutrients in it. Red Bull only has 1 mineral, magnesium. We have 75 minerals. We're going the route of the Old Testament. Okay, we're going the route of the Old Testament. Okay, and so we have salt from Australia with 28 minerals in it from the ocean. In the old days, when you were good and you did something for your family, your people who lived in your environment, the animals and the environment and so forth, you were labeled the salt of the earth. Okay, the salt of the earth. And that was a joyful and a wondrous reward for all the good things you do. Okay, we also have one of these from the Himalayan salt, because there are oceans back there thousands of years ago, and the oceans went away. All the salt and all the minerals filled up the valleys, and that's where we have 8 different sources of our minerals. We have 75 minerals from, and sometimes 78 minerals from, never less than 75, from these 8 different sources. And so it's one of those things where we are providing you with what's necessary to live as long and as well as the prophets of the days of the Old Testament. Okay. Right now, some of our famous pastors, they were in the news today. Okay. They just died at 93 and 91. Last week, there was a couple of famous pastors who died at 87. And that's good. It beats 75, but there's no reason where they couldn't have lived to be 120. Because in the Old Testament, God's words were, in man's years shall be 120. And if you do everything right, like the Hunses do, you can live to be 120, 130, 140, 150. The record in the industrialized world, and I'll end with this so we can get on with some calls and things. The record in the industrialized world is 1997. Jean Calment from France. She's right now the oldest documented living person from the industrialized nation. Okay. 122 years, 164 days. It's like crazy. It's like crazy when you think about it. And so I just urge you to get a hold of these books. It's all in your head. Get a hold of the books, Rare Earth Spin Cures. Get a hold of the book, The Wallach Revolution, and look for this set. Okay, the flip chart's going to be out before the thing for those computers. Okay.
Well, I don't know, Dr. Wallach. It's possible we might have the presentation itself available where
Before,
you are doing all of the talking
yeah.
and sharing the message before we get the actual download of the presentation and the flip chart.
Well, there you go.
So,
Well, at any rate, it's coming soon. I'm excited about this. We want to have at least 10,000 lectures a day, because I've been doing this for over 50 years to have 3 lectures a month, sometimes 3 lectures a day. But I want 1,000 minimum, 10,000, because we can save the earth, we can save the environment, we can save humanity, but it's not going to be done the way it's being done now. We're just slowly spiraling downward, okay, because they're missing the fact that we need certain things. You just can't put dirt from Texas in your car and everything's going to be fine. Okay, you need antifreeze, you need oil, you need brake fluid, you need differential fluid, you need all this stuff, power steering fluid, stuff for your drive. Okay, you need about 6 or 8 different fluids for your car to work properly and live a long time. And you know, the life expectancy of a billionaire in America is 66.7. A billionaire lives to be 66.7. The average American lives to be 75. Why is that? That's because billionaires hire coaches, and the coaches tell them how to exercise, but not how to supplement. You cannot just eat well. There you go. They'll spend $200 for a meal. Say, what do I have to supplement for? I just spent $200 for a meal. It's got to be the best thing ever. I'm getting everything I need. My doctor tells me I get everything I need just by eating well. And I do exercise. Do you sweat? Yeah, but I do. I have very expensive water. Okay. And I drink that and rehydrate after I exercise. Well, that's why exercise without supplementation is suicide, because you're not just sweating out water when you're sweating out all the minerals in your blood. Okay. And if you're not replacing them, and I like to have more minerals going in than I know that I'm going to be sweating out, so that my minerals are accumulating. I want my minerals to accumulate. And that's why I don't look like I'm 84 years old. That's why my activity level is much higher than most 84-year-olds would be. We saw quite a few 84-year-olds out in that contact in the desert. They would come and sit with us, and they were, what should I say, definitely not all of them were 100%, because they were just eating well, maybe taking some vitamin C and some calcium and that kind of stuff. Plants don't make minerals. They make vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids. Nutritional minerals do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. You do need to supplement with all 90 essential nutrients minimum. If you take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, you're getting 215, including the 90. So with all that said, and I know I probably went too long, but over to you, Rebecca.
all right. Well, no, you did not go too long, Dr. Wallach. There's lots of information to share, and we have people that are so excited and so thankful that you have been on the radio and sharing this message despite all of the walls that you have encountered over the many, many years and decades. Dr. Wallach, your tenacity and what's another word? Your get to itness and whatever it takesness, persistence. Thank you. Is just very inspiring to so many of us. So many of us, Dr. Wallach, because so many times people, they try something 1 or 2 times and then they just give up because they're getting any type of, pullback. And man, the farther people pulled back, the harder you push, Dr. Wallach, and the information that you have been providing. I am so proud to be part of in making sure that this message is shared over and over and over again. And that's why I host this program, Dr. Wallach. So folks, welcome to Daily with Doc. I know that you are going to be blessed by the information that is shared here today. Dr. Wallach has people with their hands up and also some questions out there on YouTube that we want to get to. And if you have questions and you're here live with us in the Zoom room at dailywithDocZoom.com, make sure that you raise your hand. If you have a testimonial that you would like to share, make sure that you raise your hand. So everybody, we just welcome you and get back with the person to shared this program with you. And Dr. Wallach, so you had mentioned that like Mississippi has the youngest life expectancy. I'm so thankful that we can change that.
Oh, yes. We can get them all to live to be 100 if they'll do all the right stuff.
Well, and that's it. They have to be willing to do the right stuff.
Now, that would be a beautiful story if, in the next 25 years, everybody in Mississippi after that point would live to be 100. It's possible. They have the biological capacity. We're not asking the impossible. They have the biological capacity, just like your car can go 100,000 miles. But if you just put dirt from Texas in it, I guarantee you're not going to get to go 100,000 miles. But it's dirt from Texas. There's bound to be oil in there. You're not going to go 100,000 miles in that car. You got to treat it better than that. You got to treat yourself better than that. Eat well, okay? Avoid the bad stuff. Take all your, at least the minimum of 90 essential nutrients. If you have anything, like diabetes, you add the sweeties to your 90 essential nutrients. If you have arthritis, you have the MSM and collagen peptides. If you have high blood pressure, you take your 90 essential nutrients, the healthy brain and heart pack, and you take the something like the what for high blood pressure? It'd be.
You said the ultimate daily classic, healthy body, brain, and heart pack for high blood pressure. If there's any type of like congestive heart failure type words in that, de-stress. There's so much to do
for the congestive heart failure. Nobody should die of congestive heart failure. Nobody should suffer for years of congestive heart failure. It's a very simple nutritional deficiency disease. Okay, and that's where we're showing with the athletes in this new flip chart coming through. All these things that their careers were messed up. They were messed up. They were a mess physically and emotionally. When we put them on these programs, rebuilt them, they came back and got back to the top of their line. Okay, we do have one gal, Kelly Herron, who was a All-American basketball player for University of Tennessee, and her 2-year mark there, her right shoulder, her shooting arm, got all messed up with arthritis and osteoporosis. And she showed up at one of my meetings. I had never met her, never heard of her before. She showed up at one of my meetings afterwards, told me her story. So we got her going on the same thing we put Theo Ratliff on. We built that for him, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack and the Rebound. And she played for 2 more years for the University of Tennessee and came back and played for 4 years as a professional basketball player. And so that's one of the color pictures we have of she and I standing together. And there's another picture in there of she and one of her professional teammates with me in the middle between those 2 girls. And she's 7 foot tall and this other gal is like 7'5". And
you were at a very convenient location when you're 5'2", then plus.
Yes, eat your
So
heart out, boys.
it's cute. It's a cute picture, Dr. Wallach. I loved being able to put all this together with information that is tangible, that we can see and be able to share with others. So it was a big project, and it's not over yet.
Yes, we're there. I'd say we're probably what, 95% done.
Yeah, we're 95% done. Now it's just getting the legal to go through it and make sure we've dotted all our I's and have all the citations and everything in there to make sure it's just right. So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
oh, you're very welcome. It's been a pleasure. Definitely a pleasure. So let's go to the first hand that is up, Dr. Wallach and Anthony. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hello, welcome back. How are you today?
Good. Just quick because so he can help other people. I was thinking about more, and since of all these like months or like almost already a year with all these symptoms, since it only happened once, that's what I told Dr. Joe Wallach no if I had changed of voice, but that did happen but only once. I'm not sure if that changes.
Okay, you had a voice change. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long did that last? Did it last an hour, a week to 2 months?
It was just a night, probably maybe not even an hour, probably tops an hour. It was when the ambulance people were there because I called him because I had all the other symptoms of jaw pain, shortness of breath, numbness in the left arm, left leg, chest pain. And then when I was talking to them, I had a change of voice. And that's when I was, take me to a hospital right now.
Okay, well, see, that could have been just being nerves, okay? But when you have osteoporosis of the skull, your voice is controlled by your vocal cords in your larynx, okay, in your throat. And it's controlled by the glossopharyngeal nerve, which is the 9th cranial nerve, which is one of the 12 pairs of cranial nerves. And when you have any kind of edema or swelling in your brain, or you have osteoporosis in the skull, squeezing those nerves, and the skull doesn't squeeze all the nerves, all 12 pairs of cranial nerves and spinal cord all at the same time. You may just get tingling and numbness in your fingers, okay, in one hand. And that's because your skull is squeezing the spinal cord, and that's showing up in those fingers in that one hand. Or you could have hammer toes and tingling in your toes because your skull is squeezing the spinal cord. That's going all the way down into your toes, okay? And the rest, everything is okay. But within 6 months, maybe you'll lose vision in one eye, okay? Because the skull is squeezing that optic nerve. If you're losing vision in one eye, the skull is squeezing the optic nerve, the optic artery, and the optic vein. I was near totally blind a couple of years ago. We came up with our Occutive product along with the Synaptive and the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm like really almost perfect vision in my right eye, and I'm about 45 or 50% in my left eye, which was almost totally blind, just because of these supplements I'm taking. Okay. And so, the doctors want to do all these surgeries and all that kind of stuff. Well, let me try my thing first. And I did the God thing first with all the vitamins and minerals. And I'm good. I'm good to go.
Well, God bless you, Dr.
Okay, yeah, let us know how it goes. You want the Synaptive, you want the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, you want the MSM, Regrow the Skull. And you saw that picture she held up in that book. You see that when you have osteoporosis of the skull is so thick, it's squeezing all those nerves. Instead of the hole in your skull for the nerves to go through being, say, a quarter of an inch to a half inch in diameter, now it's a millimeter in diameter. It's just squeezing those nerves and causing all the symptoms downstream. Got it?
Yeah. Okay. So my diagnosis doesn't change. It's the same.
No, you can regrow. You can fix that. You can regrow it by taking, again, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the MSM, glucogel. Don't forget to throw in the I-26. Don't forget to throw in the Synaptive, and get rid of all the bad foods. You can maximize absorption, and you'll be amazed. This can all come right very quickly.
Okay, thank you, Wallach.
God bless.
God bless you too. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Yes, your recommendations that Dr. Wallach has given you still hold and are the same. So thank you so much for that. Now, Dr. Wallach, we've got a question in regards to frequent urination. And looking at the book, It's All in Your Head. Which nerve is it again that is associated with the frequent or polyurea, I think is what they call it. But
It's the same for both males and females. It's called the spinal cord. The spinal cord is made in the skull, comes out of the foramen magnum, which is Latin for big hole, foramen magnum. Okay, which is under ideal circumstances, it's like 3/4 of an inch to an inch in diameter. But when you get osteoporosis of the skull, that gets down to a 1/2 inch in diameter, and it is squeezing that spinal cord. Your spinal cord is telling your urinary bladder to urinate. It's not uncommon for people to get up 1 time, 3 times, 5 times. I've had them get up 10 times a night, like every hour, every 45 minutes they're getting up to urinate. And it's not a prostate problem because it happens more in women than it happens in men. Women don't have prostate glands. That really frustrates the doctors because they want to make the money by doing biopsies of the prostate gland. And they get all ready for what kind of surgery am I going to have, doctor? Well, we're going to do a biopsy of your prostate. Well, I'm a girl. I don't have a prostate. What? Oh, I forgot. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's because they're so interested in getting that prostate biopsy money. They forget that women don't have prostates.
right. Well, yeah, it's just not in the anatomy. Dr. Wallach, we've got a question out here on YouTube. So there's a young man here who, when his dad mows the grass, he sweats a lot. But when he mows the grass, he doesn't sweat as much, still on hot days. So what is it that makes us sweat or not sweat as much? Because I know when we sweat, it's not just water. We're sweating out the minerals that our body needs.
That's correct. Well, it could be due to skin health, issues, because all the sweat glands are in the skin. So, and remember, 2/3 of the skin thickness is connective tissue, the same stuff that's in your knees and your hips and your Achilles tendon and that kind of stuff, and the walls of your arteries and veins make up 2/3 of the thickness of your skin. And you can lose your hair, your hair color goes away. And I was born with black hair. I had black hair until I was like 25 or 30. I started getting some gray hair, and now I'm 75 years old or 60 years old. My hair is snow white, but they say that's because I'm old. No, that's not due to aging, not due to gender. It has to do with not getting enough nutrition that your skin needs to make hair color, and your skin needs 90 essential nutrients, to be happy and maintain itself, so don't get psoriasis and dry, itchy skin and flaky skin and wrinkles. I mean, you can look. I mean, I don't have. I don't think the facial wrinkles that most people have at 84 years of age. And I do.
I think you have less wrinkles than I do, Dr. Wallach. But then you've been taking the nutrition a lot longer than I have too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm pretty good, for 84, even my fingers. I can duke it out with the best of them, at my age. And so I only have one tooth gone. That having 3 guys attack me in a shopping mall because they wanted my packages. And I got one of them and got him down on the ground and was pounding on him. The other 2 ran away. And the one that I was pounding on limped away. But I maintained all my stuff. I did lose one tooth, which they started the fight. They hit me first.
That's right. If they start it, son, you have permission to finish it. That's there you go. That's my secret for life recommendations for my sons. Okay, and granddaughters. So let's go to Vinny. Now, Vinny, you probably couldn't get yourself to unmute because you have to let me unmute you, my dear. So go ahead and try unmuting yourself now. Can you unmute? No? Okay, so he did write in the chat here. He is 34-year-old male and he's paralyzed from the belly button down, T10. And currently he has 2 pressure wounds on the right hip and coccyx. They are both stage 3 and 4. They both are very slow healing, but seem to just be stagnant and also osteomyelitis.
Now,
which they
did we get a weight on him?
I don't see a weight yet, so if you could put a weight in there, that would be great.
Okay, and did he say why he's paralyzed? Was it an accident or just got paralyzed or what?
He did not say. He did not say. So let's try unmuting Vinny. Dr. Wallach has some questions for you. Are you able to? I just sent a request to unmute. Or if you could type in there what your weight is and what was the cause of paralysis. As you're doing that, I want to go to the next person, Dr. Wallach, and David, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me bring you here on camera with me. And welcome.
Did you say
This
Hi,
is
Doc.
David. So, Dr. Wallach, David has something he would like to share with everybody.
David, okay.
Doc, I had several issues going on due to osteoporosis of the skull.
Okay.
Checked several boxes there. I've been on the longevity products for about 7 months now. I had big problems with balance, with a drop foot. I had numbness in my feet. I either felt like they were numb or they were swollen. I had trouble walking heel to toe. I had no endurance. If I was sitting down for about a half hour and I tried to stand up, my body would want to remain in the sitting position and not straighten out. I had a racing and irregular heartbeat.
Yeah, that's called tachycardia, fast heart rate. And then how
I
much
would
you,
urinate about 4 or 5 times a night.
okay, Yeah.
My recovery has just been outstanding. My drop foot is nearly gone. I
how
have
many
very
times you wake
little
up to urinate
numbness.
at night now?
Once maybe?
Not 8 or 10 times.
No. So I get better sleep as well. I can walk heel to toe in a nearly normal stride. I walk dogs for a living and board dogs. And now I can walk more than twice the distance in the same amount of time. My irregular heartbeat is completely gone.
Okay, irregular heartbeat is called AFib, atrial fibrillation.
Okay, that's gone. I used to get it at night in bed and it used to
Yeah.
really frighten me.
So, why did it happen worse at night? Because when you're laying down, your skull is on a pillow or something, and you're squeezing that spinal cord, okay? And that's why you had it worse at nighttime.
Okay. Also, I've noticed, well, I don't need to go to physical therapy anymore. I had trouble affording the products, but I saved $300 a month in copay, so I've expanded my product line for different things that are important. My skin has tightened up. People I hadn't seen in a while thought I lost weight. They couldn't figure it out. They can't believe I'm 63 years old.
Yeah, no, you don't look 63. You look like you're in your 50s.
Well, thank you. It's all due to you. So I started out on the Healthy Body Start Pack, and then I added MSM, then I added the glucogels, the Synaptive, and most recently, I don't know if that's why it seemed to take off the last month, but I added the collagen peptides. And I know you hear this all the time, but
Well, we
you
appreciate you
changed
sharing your
my
story.
life, Doc.
We appreciate you sharing your story. And you were how old when all this happened at first?
I guess, well, I had a triple fusion, which was unnecessary, I know now. That was in 2015, and I've had all of these symptoms.
Building up since then, yeah.
Yeah, rigid brick of a
And
back.
how long have you been on our program?
7 months.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
God bless you. You have such a great story. We cannot thank you enough for sharing. And
I can't thank you enough, Doc.
Well, share that with your family, your workmates, your neighbors, your church mates, and share it with as many people as you can, because you're one of these guys that thousands of years ago, you'd have been one of the angels, one of the people running around telling the stories.
Well, not to take too much time, because I know other people need your help. But my wife also, I got on the program. She has scoliosis. She doesn't go to therapy anymore either. She's on the,
Now, one question. In addition
Yeah.
to the nutrients, does she get on one of these inversion tables and hang upside down?
we just got it, and she's all excited. We're putting it together tonight.
Okay, good.
She doesn't go to therapy anymore. She had diverticulitis. She doesn't have that anymore. She can raise her knees up. She couldn't even get her feet off the floor. And she hasn't even been on it as long as me, but she has been gluten-free for the 7 months.
Ah,
Off all the bad foods and just Tangy Tangerine to start. And now she's on glucogel, MSM, and she's seeing great results.
okay,
And just quickly, my dogs are too with the Arthrodex.
okay. Well, you are definitely a longevity family. We cannot thank you enough for sharing your story, because you're going to help a lot of people. Because when they hear us talking, they say, yeah. But what do you do for a living? What's your profession or trade?
I board and walk dogs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, God bless
So-
you, sir. We cannot thank you enough. And
God bless you, Dr. Wallach. You have changed the lives of everyone in this household, including the doggies.
okay, bye-bye.
I was hoping you were going to mention them because they were the first ones that you really started seeing these results with, David. And you were
Yeah,
so
he
excited.
couldn't even stand up to do his business.
Wow.
And now he's running up and down the stairs and running up the hill in the backyard, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's a
That
great
is
story. Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much, David. When Ruth Ellen told me that you were going to be coming on today to share this, I'm like, because I knew it's going to be impactful and make such a difference for so many people to be able to hear your story and hear what is possible.
I
It's
can't
very-
wait to see where I am a year from now.
Neither can I.
Well, you'll be 25 years younger a year from now.
Awesome. Thank you again, David.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, now let's go back to Vinny, Dr. Wallach. So Vinny is 145 pounds, and the paralysis happened during a driving accident in 2010.
Mhm. Okay, so we don't know the extent of the injuries other than they do cause paralysis and stuff going on below, what, 7 and 8?
He said T10 is where he
Oh,
mentioned. So from the
okay,
belly button
T10.
down,
Okay, so anyways, how much again?
145 pounds.
145 pounds. Okay, none of the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, no oats, no buckwheat because of the phagopyrines, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks got to go. Carbonated water has to go. And then 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. He needs 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. They're going to help support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone breaks bone itself. And that's for osteoporosis and arthritis and all that kind of stuff, because it doesn't just happen in your legs. It happens if you got osteoporosis and arthritis in your legs, you got it up here in the skull. Okay, if you have it in your little finger in your right hand, you got it in your skull. It's like, and every bone in the body has the same issue. Okay, and then you need to, because of the various symptoms. Okay, it'll be very good because of the balance issue. That's obviously the skull. So he does need to also take the, let's see here, I would throw in the I-26 for the spinal cord and nerve health and brain health. I would also throw in the synaptives so the brain cells can talk to the cells in the spinal cord. And again, stay away from the bad foods. And let's start there. Did I leave out anything, Rebecca?
No, I think you covered everything, Dr. Wallach, because that
Don't
is
forget the rebound. Don't forget the rebound or a sports drink. Okay.
Yep, don't forget the rebound, because that is your complete osteoporosis of the skull protocol, which can be used for those who have frequent urination issues. those with nerve issues, numbness, tingling,
Receding
whether they're
gums,
receding gums, but then the numbness, the tingling, whether it's in your
heart issues.
fingertips or your toes, heart issues, all of these things are associated with osteoporosis of the skull.
Mhm.
And that's the squeezing that starts right up here. Everything downstream is affected.
well,
Everything that's coming out,
Yeah,
the cranial nerves, is affected.
in the book, in this book, It's All in Your Head, there's a chapter for each cranial nerve and the spinal cord. And we also have, to kind of fill in some blank spots, we have a disc that Rebecca and I did. It's a CD, so it's a set, the book and the CD. But every one of these pictures relates to a cranial nerve in the spinal cord doing stuff when it's squeezed by osteoporosis of the skull. And here are all the chapters. And again, each chapter represents a cranial nerve in the spinal cord. And so you're going to know more about this than medical doctors know about, because they just do not get trained in this in school. I know that because I saw the horrible results at autopsy.
And I'm like 99.9% positive, Dr. Wallach, that on that CD that you and I recorded, it gives the osteoporosis of the skull protocol, where it may not be listed product by product, because Dr. Wallach has this thing with longevity. It's a legal thing where if you look in his books, many of his books don't mention longevity products by name. And that's a distinction that he had to keep separate, because he wanted to be able to promote the longevity products without people being able to say, well, you're only promoting them because you're getting a paycheck from them or they're paying you. And that's not the case. He has removed those ties from the company, handed it over to his son, and he makes his books, or makes his money off the books. But I love how you've whether it's by choice or by legal mandation, worked on keeping those things separate, so that one, your books can be used as textbooks at the university level, which is something else we're working on.
That's going to happen. Yep.
Yep. But also, we want you to get back as a person that shared this program with you, folks, and say, hey, Dr. Wallach mentioned all these things going on. It sounds like it's osteoporosis of the skull. I need to get on the program that he's talking about. Can you help me get that? And that's where this crusade that Dr. Wallach has started allows us as individuals to be part of your healing journey. So 90 for Life Crusade to save the world and humanity.
Wow.
Dr. Joel Wallach. So that's pretty fantastic, Dr. Wallach. I know you've got to get going, but do you have any suggestions? Because we've got all this smoke that's coming down. We've got Canada, several places on fire, and other places around the world. It's creating smoke that can cause breathing issues. Do you have any recommendations to help arm ourselves against that?
Well, in addition to the regular program of the 90 essential nutrients and get rid of all the bad foods, you can wear a mask when you go outdoors. Because if you have a house and you have air conditioning and air filters and all this kind of stuff in the house, okay. But also I like oxy bodies to add to it. It's an oxygen source. And I have an ounce at breakfast, an ounce at dinner time, along with everything else I take of the oxy body. And it tastes good. And it gives you a nice big jolt of oxygen. Woo! You know, it gives you that energy in the morning, and it gives you energy in the afternoon or with your dinner, so that you're not just exhausted because you've been working all day and this, that, and the other. And now with all this smoke and particulate matter, when you leave the house, I like to use a mask because it catches a lot of that, physically collects and blocks inhaling of those smoke particles.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Wallach. We appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and let you go now. Folks, Dr. Wallach has been doing this a long time. He is well sought after, but we don't want to just limit it to our community. we want to make sure that if you have a community of people that you are reaching and you have a following, or you have a church congregation and you would like to host Dr. Wallach to give a lecture, that option is available. We are doing lots of Zooms. He's starting to get out on the road now. So go to dailywithdoc.com, use that contact option. That will send an email directly to me, and I will get back with you and we'll work on getting you on the schedule and the particulars of that, so that you too can be part of this crusade to help save the world and humanity. If I could get my co-hosts on with me, that would be fabulous. They're wonderful. They're godsends. They're angels. I could not do this without them. With Sherry, I mean, first letting people in, and her skills are much more valuable than just letting people in and watching cameras. She is absolutely fabulous as a coach, and just dealing with people. I love her personality and the kindness of her voice and her heart and all of that. And Marilyn has some of the same traits, and here in the Zoom, she is making sure that she's using her typing skills. Sometimes we stretch them, but I am so thankful for her, because I used to do that, and putting the information that Dr. Wallach is sharing into the chat, where people can then see it, take a picture of it, take a screenshot of it, and be able to use it to present to their health coach and say, hey, this is what I need too. And Ruth Ellen Sanchez, who is keeping an eye on everything, including YouTube and Rumble and Facebook, making sure everything still has sound and everything is streaming, and figuring out a way to let me know if it's not, because like today, yeah, I don't have my phone here for communications. It's used as a hotspot, so Dr. Wallach could be on with us today. So, life gets interesting, and you could cause or allow life to stop you dead in your tracks and not move forward. But we're all about solutions. I'm not going to let a little thing about not having Wi-Fi on the property, in my property, or Dr. Wallach's, stop us from bringing this information to you. There's always a solution. So seek out solutions, folks. Get back with the person that shared this program with you. If you've got poor health conditions, it's not too late. If you have great health and you want to maintain it, that's the best place to start. But again, it's not too late for those of us who were way too young to feel so old, like I did. We are progress over perfection. And I am proud to be living a better by the minute life with Daily with Doc and Critical Health News. For all of you who are Critical Health News followers, thank you for sticking with us. And until next time, bye for now.